I became powerful. I controlled the largest steel company in the world. I commanded thousands of workers. I moved markets with my decisions. I influenced politicians. I shaped industries. I wielded more power than most men could imagine. Real power, enormous power, the power to affect thousands of lives, the power to determine the fate of communities, the power to shape the direction of an entire industry. I became powerful, truly powerful, undeniably powerful, but becoming powerful required things I did not expect, cost things I did not anticipate, changed me in ways I did not foresee, took from me what I did not know would be taken, demanded sacrifices I did not understand I would make, transformed me into someone I did not know I would become. Becoming powerful was not what I thought it would be, was not what I imagined, was not what I expected, was harder, was costlier, was more brutal, was more transformative, was everything except what I thought it would be. The hard truth about becoming powerful, the truth no one tells you, the truth you only learn by becoming powerful, the truth I learned, the truth I must tell, the hard truth about becoming powerful. Let me tell you this truth, not the mythology, not the sanitized version, not the story people want to hear, but the real truth, the actual cost, the genuine transformation, the hard truth about what becoming powerful actually requires, what it actually costs, what it actually does to you. The hard truth I learned, the truth you need to know, the truth about becoming powerful. Power requires becoming someone you are not. This is the first truth, the foundational truth, the truth that underlies everything else. You cannot become powerful while remaining who you are, cannot gain power while maintaining your current self, cannot accumulate power while preserving your personality. Power requires transformation, requires change, requires becoming different, becoming harder, becoming colder, becoming more calculating, becoming more ruthless, becoming someone you are not. This is required. This is unavoidable. This is the price of power. You must become someone you are not. I was soft when I started, was empathetic, was compassionate, was sensitive, was human. I cared about people, cared about suffering, cared about fairness, cared about justice. I was soft, human, caring. This softness had to die, had to be killed, had to be eliminated, because softness cannot be powerful, compassion cannot dominate, sensitivity cannot command, humanity cannot control. To become powerful, I had to become hard, had to kill empathy, had to eliminate compassion, had to destroy sensitivity, had to remove humanity, had to become someone different, someone harder, someone colder, someone more calculating, someone more ruthless, someone who was not the person I was, someone who was not who I started as, someone different, someone transformed, someone powerful, someone who was not me. This transformation happened gradually, was not sudden decision, was not single moment, was series of small deaths, small eliminations, small hardenings. Each decision that prioritized profit over people killed a little empathy. Each choice that valued efficiency over humanity removed a little compassion. Each policy that favored growth over fairness eliminated a little sensitivity. Each action that chose power over kindness destroyed a little humanity. Gradually, over years, over decades, over thousands of decisions, I killed who I was. I eliminated the soft person. I removed the caring human. I destroyed the empathetic boy. I became someone different, someone harder, someone powerful, someone who was not who I started as, someone who was not who I wanted to be, someone who was necessary for power, someone power required me to become, someone different, someone transformed, someone powerful, someone who was not me. This is the first hard truth. Power requires becoming someone you are not, requires killing who you are, requires transforming into someone different, someone harder, someone less human, someone more powerful. You cannot become powerful while remaining yourself. You must become someone else, someone you might not like, someone you might not recognize, someone you might not have wanted to become, but someone powerful, someone who can wield power, someone who can command, someone who can dominate, someone who can control, someone different from who you are, someone you must become to become powerful. Power requires making decisions that hurt people. This is the second truth, the unavoidable truth, the truth about what power actually means. Power is not abstract, power is decisions, decisions that affect people, decisions that determine circumstances, decisions that shape lives. And many of these decisions hurt people, many cause suffering, many create harm, many inflict pain. This is what power means. Making decisions that hurt people, not occasionally, not rarely, not as unfortunate exception, but regularly, constantly, as normal function of power. Power requires making decisions that hurt people. This is the second hard truth. I made decisions that hurt people every day for decades. Decisions to cut wages hurt families who depended on those wages. Decisions to maximize efficiency hurt workers who suffered in dangerous conditions. Decisions to break strikes hurt communities that depended on those workers. Decisions to destroy competitors hurt people who worked for those competitors. Decisions to squeeze suppliers hurt businesses that depended on fair prices. Every decision I made that increased my power hurt people, hurt real people with real lives, with real families, with real suffering. I hurt people regularly, constantly, as normal function of wielding power. This is what power meant. Making decisions that hurt people. I could not avoid this, could not escape this, could not refuse this. Power is decisions that affect people. Affecting people means hurting people. There is no power without hurt, no control without harm, no dominance without suffering, no command without pain. Power requires hurting people. This is unavoidable. This is inherent. This is what power means. If you cannot make decisions that hurt people, you cannot be powerful. If you cannot cause suffering through your choices, you cannot wield power. If you cannot inflict pain through your decisions, you cannot command. If you cannot harm through your actions, you cannot dominate. Power requires making decisions that hurt people, and if you want power, you must make these decisions, must cause this suffering, must inflict this pain, must create this harm regularly, constantly, as normal function of power. This is the second hard truth about becoming powerful. Power requires choosing outcomes over people. This is the third truth, the calculating truth, the truth about how power thinks. Power thinks in terms of outcomes, goals, results, achievements, targets, numbers, metrics, outcomes, not people, not individuals, not humans, not suffering, not compassion, not fairness. Outcomes. Power requires thinking in terms of outcomes, requires prioritizing results, requires choosing goals over people, requires valuing achievements over individuals, requires measuring by metrics rather than humanity. Power requires choosing outcomes over people. This is how power thinks. This is what power demands. This is the third hard truth. I stopped seeing people, started seeing numbers. Workers were not individuals with families and dreams. Workers were labour costs, were productivity metrics, were efficiency targets, were numbers on spreadsheets, not people, numbers. Competitors were not human beings with businesses they built. Competitors were obstacles, were threats, were targets for elimination, were problems to solve, not people, problems. Communities were not collections of humans with lives and hopes. Communities were markets, were resources, were opportunities, were strategic considerations, not people, strategies. I stopped seeing people, started seeing outcomes, started thinking in terms of results, started prioritizing goals, started measuring metrics, started choosing outcomes over people. This is how power thinks. This is what power required. This is what I became. This transformation was necessary for power, was required for wielding power effectively, was essential for making decisions that built empire, was unavoidable for achieving dominance. If I had continued seeing people as people, I could not have made decisions that hurt them, could not have cut wages that harmed families, could not have broken strikes that destroyed communities, could not have eliminated competitors who were human beings, could not have wielded power effectively, could not have built empire successfully, could not have become powerful. Seeing people as people prevents making decisions that hurt people, prevents wielding power effectively, prevents becoming powerful. So I stopped seeing people, started seeing outcomes, started thinking in terms of results, started choosing outcomes over people. This was necessary, this was required, this was how I became powerful, by choosing outcomes over people, by thinking in terms of results rather than humans, by prioritizing goals over individuals, by measuring metrics rather than suffering, by becoming someone who could choose outcomes over people. This is the third hard truth about becoming powerful. Power requires sacrificing relationships. This is the fourth truth, the isolating truth, the truth about what power costs socially. Power isolates, power separates, power creates distance, power destroys relationships, power makes real connection impossible, power requires sacrificing relationships. This is the fourth hard truth. The truth about the social cost of power. I lost relationships becoming powerful, lost friendships, lost connections, lost intimacy, lost the ability to have relationships that were not about power, lost the ability to connect with people who did not want something from me, lost the ability to trust anyone completely, lost the ability to be vulnerable, lost the ability to be known, lost relationships, sacrificed them for power, because power requires sacrifice of relationships, because power creates distance, because power prevents real connection, because power makes relationships impossible. Powerful people cannot have equal relationships, cannot have friendships with equals, cannot have connections without power dynamics, cannot have relationships that are not affected by power. Power affects everything, changes everything, colours everything, makes everything about power. When you are powerful, people want things from you, want favours, want opportunities, want access, want influence, want something. They do not want you. They want your power. They want what you can do for them. They want benefits of connection to powerful person. They do not want relationship with human. They want relationship with power. This prevents real relationships, prevents genuine connection, prevents authentic intimacy, prevents being known as person rather than as power. This is what power does to relationships: destroys them, makes them impossible, requires sacrifice in them. I had many associates, many partners, many connections, many people in my orbit, but I had few friends, few genuine relationships, few connections that were not about power, few relationships where I was known as person rather than as power, few real relationships, because power destroyed relationships, made them impossible, required sacrifice in them. I sacrificed relationships for power, lost the ability to connect genuinely, lost the ability to be vulnerable, lost the ability to be known, lost relationships. This was the price. This was the cost. This was the sacrifice power required: sacrifice of relationships, sacrifice of genuine connection, sacrifice of real Intimacy, sacrifice of being known. This is the fourth hard truth about becoming powerful. Power requires constant vigilance. This is the fifth truth, the exhausting truth, the truth about what power demands daily. Power requires constant vigilance, constant watching, constant monitoring, constant defending, constant protecting, constant maintaining. Power does not maintain itself, does not preserve itself, does not protect itself. Power must be maintained, must be preserved, must be protected constantly without rest, without pause, without stopping. Power requires constant vigilance. This is exhausting. This is relentless. This is never ending. This is the fifth hard truth. I could never rest, could never stop watching, could never stop monitoring threats, could never stop defending position, could never stop protecting power, could never stop maintaining control. Never, not for a day, not for a week, not for a year, never. Competitors were always trying to take my possession. Workers were always organising to challenge my control. Markets were always shifting to threaten my dominance. Technologies were always emerging to disrupt my advantages. Everything was always changing. Everything was always threatening. Everything was always trying to take my power. I had to watch constantly, monitor constantly, defend constantly, protect constantly, maintain constantly. This was exhausting, was relentless, was never ending. This is what power required: constant vigilance, constant effort, constant work, no rest, no pause, no stopping, just constant vigilance, maintaining power. This vigilance consumed me, consumed my time, consumed my energy, consumed my attention, consumed my life. I could not stop thinking about threats, could not stop worrying about competition, could not stop monitoring markets, could not stop defending position, could not stop protecting power. This consumed everything, left nothing for other things, nothing for rest, nothing for enjoyment, nothing for peace, nothing for life beyond power. Everything consumed by constant vigilance, maintaining power. This is what power demanded: total consumption, complete devotion, absolute focus, everything sacrificed to constant vigilance, maintaining power. This is exhausting. This is relentless. This is the price of power: constant vigilance, never ending effort, total consumption. This is the fifth hard truth about becoming powerful. Power requires accepting that you will be hated. This is the sixth truth, the painful truth, the truth about how power is perceived. Powerful people are hated, are resented, are envied, are blamed, are criticised, are attacked. This is unavoidable. This is certain. This is consequence of power. You will be hated. You will be resented. You will be envied. You will be blamed. You will be criticised. You will be attacked. Power requires accepting this, accepting hatred, accepting resentment, accepting envy, accepting blame, accepting criticism, accepting attacks. This is the sixth hard truth about becoming powerful. I was hated by workers who resented my wealth, by competitors who envied my success, by communities who blamed me for their struggles, by critics who attacked my methods, by reformers who condemned my practices, by everyone affected by my power. I was hated publicly, privately, constantly, vocally, intensely, permanently. I was hated. This hurt, was painful, was difficult to accept, was hard to bear. Being hated hurts even when you expect it, even when you understand it, even when you accept it. Being hated hurts. But power requires accepting hatred, requires bearing hatred, requires living with being hated by many people. This is unavoidable consequence of power. Powerful people make decisions that hurt others. Others hate you for hurting them. Powerful people control resources others want. Others resent you for controlling what they cannot have. Powerful people achieve what others aspire to. Others envy your achievements. Powerful people cause consequences others suffer. Others blame you for their suffering. Powerful people are visible, others criticize visible targets. Powerful people threaten others, others attack threats. Power creates hatred, creates resentment, creates envy, creates blame, creates criticism, creates attacks. This is unavoidable, this is certain, this is consequence of being powerful. You will be hated and you must accept this, must bear this, must live with being hated if you want to be powerful. This is the sixth hard truth about becoming powerful. Power requires understanding it can be lost instantly. This is the seventh truth, the humbling truth, the truth about power fragility. Power is not permanent, is not secure, is not guaranteed. Power can be lost quickly, suddenly, completely. Everything you built can disappear. Everything you achieved can vanish. Everything you controlled can be taken. Power is fragile. Power is temporary. Power is vulnerable. Power can be lost instantly. This is the seventh hard truth about becoming powerful. I understood this, saw this, knew this. Markets could crash. Technologies could change. Competitors could emerge. Economies could collapse. Regulations could eliminate. Anything could happen, anything could take my power instantly, completely, permanently. I understood this. New power was fragile, new power was temporary, new power was vulnerable, new power could be lost. This understanding created anxiety, created fear, created constant awareness of fragility, created recognition that everything can disappear. This understanding was important, was necessary, was realistic, but was also burden, was weight, was pressure, was constant reminder of vulnerability, constant awareness that power could be lost instantly. This awareness affected decisions, made me cautious sometimes, made me aggressive other times, made me defensive frequently, made me protective constantly, made me aware always that power could be lost, that everything could disappear, that vulnerability was real, that fragility was permanent characteristic of power. This awareness shaped how I wielded power, how I made decisions, how I defended position, how I maintained control. This awareness was necessary, was realistic, was important, but was also burden, was constant reminder that power is temporary, that power is fragile, that power can be lost instantly. This is the seventh hard truth about becoming powerful. These are the hard truths about becoming powerful. Power requires becoming someone you are not, requires making decisions that hurt people, requires choosing outcomes over people, requires sacrificing relationships, requires constant vigilance, requires accepting hatred, requires understanding power can be lost instantly. These are the hard truths, the real truths, the truths no one tells you before you pursue power, the truths you only learn by becoming powerful, the truths I learned, the truths I must tell, the hard truths about becoming powerful. I became powerful. I paid these costs. I made these sacrifices. I underwent these transformations. I bore these burdens. I accepted these consequences. I lived these truths for decades, for my entire adult life. I became powerful, and becoming powerful required everything these truths describe, required becoming someone I was not, required hurting people regularly, required choosing outcomes over individuals, required sacrificing genuine relationships, required constant exhausting vigilance, required accepting being hated, required living with awareness of fragility, becoming powerful, required all of this, all of these hard truths, all of these costs, all of these sacrifices, all of these transformations, all of these burdens, all of these consequences. This is what becoming powerful actually required. Not what I expected, not what I imagined, not what I hoped, but what it actually required. The hard truths about becoming powerful. Was it worth it? I do not know. I cannot answer simply. Some days yes, some days no. Most days both. Yes, because power allowed me to build, to create, to achieve, to shape, to influence, to matter. Yes, because power enabled accomplishments, enabled empire, enabled wealth, enabled legacy, enabled impact. Yes, for these reasons, but also no. No, because the cost was enormous, because I became someone I did not want to become, because I hurt people I did not want to hurt, because I sacrificed relationships I did not want to sacrifice, because I lived with burdens I did not want to bear, because I accepted consequences I did not want to face. No, for these reasons, both yes and no, both worth it and not worth it, both triumph and tragedy, both achievement and cost, both power and price, both, always both. This is the truth about becoming powerful, both the power and the price, both the achievement and the cost, both the triumph and the tragedy, both. If you want to become powerful, you must know these truths, must understand these costs, must accept these sacrifices, must recognize these transformations, must bear these burdens, must face these consequences, must live these realities. You must know before you pursue power, must understand before you commit, must accept before you begin, because becoming powerful requires all of this, requires becoming someone you are not, requires hurting people, requires choosing outcomes over individuals, requires sacrificing relationships, requires constant vigilance, requires accepting hatred, requires living with fragility, requires all of this, always, unavoidably. Certainly, this is what becoming powerful requires. The hard truth about becoming powerful: you can still choose to pursue power, can still decide becoming powerful is worth these costs, can still commit to these sacrifices, can still accept these transformations, can still bear these burdens, can still face these consequences. You can still choose power, but choose knowing, choose understanding, choose accepting, choose with full knowledge of costs, choose with complete understanding of sacrifices, choose with total acceptance of consequences, choose knowing these hard truths, choose understanding what becoming powerful actually requires, choose accepting what power actually costs, choose knowing, choose understanding, choose consciously, choose deliberately, choose with eyes open to hard truths, then choose to pursue power or not, to accept costs or not, to make sacrifices or not, to undergo transformations or not, then choose. But choose knowing these hard truths about becoming powerful. I chose, I became powerful, I paid these costs, I made these sacrifices, I underwent these transformations, I bore these burdens, I accepted these consequences, I lived these hard truths. For decades, I chose, and I cannot say definitively whether choice was right, whether costs were worth it, whether sacrifices were justified, whether transformations were acceptable, whether burdens were bearable, whether consequences were livable. I cannot say definitively. I can only say I chose. I became powerful. I lived these hard truths, and I am telling you these hard truths so you can choose knowing, can choose understanding, can choose accepting the hard truths about becoming powerful. Now you know, now choose knowing these hard truths, knowing these costs, knowing these sacrifices, knowing these transformations, knowing these burdens, knowing these consequences. Now choose the hard truth about becoming powerful. Now you know.